guys, welcome back to another episode of The Stable. We got red over here because after all the work I did last week, you kind of see through the tire well right there, we replaced the 2 power steering lines and I fried the fuse. But anyways, a new one came in and it's this old crusty one right here. So it's going to come up and it's actually this one right here. Kind of interesting. You got to figure it out, but there's a nut on the bottom because I don't know if you just kind of twist this down on top or what, but we'll figure it out when we take the old one off. My dad's Fox body. You guys can kind of see the rear end. Looks good under there. The only problem we ran into is that the LMR kit, I think we ordered at the time, these might be like SN rear brake lines. He went with a 95 rear end, so he actually needs the 95 braided brake lines. So waiting on those to come in. Everywhere seems to be sold out right now. Obviously red's over here, so we got the new fuses. Amazon had a 10-pack, so you guys can see how burnt that one is. So tape this up over here in this corner because it ended up arcing again and I caught it in time, thankfully. So that was that. Like I said, just a new line for red today. Maybe kind of drill one of these holes bigger because there's a gap with this hood and we can slide it over. The new hardware did come in, but I'm hoping next week while Curtis has this thing to put the new rear end in it, we can take it to the paint shop and have the hood painted. Maybe see how much he wants to charge me to do the hood, get this dent and this scratch out, and then paint our trunk to match everything because the trunk's a different color when I backed into it with the FJ. So we'll see how much he talks about, but the big thing with that is that there's going to be a time crunch on his end. He can't have the car forever because with the new rear end in it, this is going to need 500 braking miles on it before we can go racing. So if he can only get the hood done in that time, it is what it is. But that's red right now. My dad has been working on his car. All this stuff can come off, can it? All these bags. So he got, we got the valve covers on, fuel lines, this water tube, and he ended up getting a new water pump right there. So we got to get bolts for that. We were looking at the intake the other day and he ended up getting some all thread for this one right here. We had to do the same thing to this hole. And so once we're done messing with my car, the game plan is to push my dad's car over there, get it on the lift because he has parts to make the e-brake work. And what else is done to the rear end? You said the e-brake.
I just got to hook the brake lines up to it.
And then the brake lines when those new ones come in. And my mom's car's been down for a while. I think it's a fuel pump. We got a new one of those. So one of these days we'll get that thing up on the lift because it'll probably be easier to drop the tank to do that. Drop that out of there, put a new fuel pump in there. So hopefully that is ready to go as well. And then my dad is about to paint the timing cover on his engine. Probably black, so might look similar to the front of the 86 right here, just this part. So that's an update. We're gonna go ahead and get started on red. All right guys, so of course it's gonna be a pain. I took this line off, put plastic over the port to try to block anything from going down in there. We have this little crow's foot. My dad said he threw the rest away. This is a 3/4. It's the only one we have in the garage. I thought it was gonna work to be able to get that off, but it's slipping. So if we strip the bottom nut out, then it's pretty much screwed. So I'm making the executive decision, cut this line off right here, put an 18 socket over there because we can still get a wrench in to hold that nut on the bottom and just twist this off. So that line's not important no more since wherever the new one is up there. So that's what we're about to do. My dad was worried about possibly catching anything on fire. So I'm just gonna kind of old school it here with this little baby hacksaw. Cut that off, put a socket on there, and hopefully it twists off for us. Then from that point, I can put some penetrating lube on that bottom nut, break that bottom nut free, get it spinning freely, and then just twist it into the new one. Hopefully, sounds good on paper, we'll see. One more thing, guys, I'm just thinking about it. My dad's car, we have a little list of parts he needs, but he did pick up the contour fan. And he kind of cut the ends off of it. So when he gets his new radiator, he's gonna be running the contour fan. without giving you guys too much, he is going to be running, oh, it's not on there yet. Where's it at? Back here, this 9-inch crank for the supercharger. So it was already clearing on, or it was already hitting, I mean, on his old radiator here. So since that one was hitting, there's nothing wrong with this one. I'm just gonna reuse this one for the 86 because I know that the 8-inch that I have on there, on mine now over there in the corner, will fit with this, but I got a black overflow to run with it. Already through there pretty far. All right, guys, that hacksaw made quick work of that, but you can see my cut was not great. So I had to try to use a file and get that on there, unless I can, yeah, I might have to file that edge down unless I can force an 18 down on there. All right, guys, so correction, that bottom was a 18, and then this piece was a 21, but as you can see, cut that little pipe, came off perfect. So that little port right there, we'll just put the new one on. So made quick work of that. So now this cut line down here on the bottom, we will just have to pull that through at the bottom and then disconnect it from the power steering. So next step, red go up in the air, pull that out, put the new line on. Hopefully it won't be so bad. I am going to make sure that spins freely, because we will have to tighten this so it threads into the bottom of our new one, this end right here. That end I was just spinning, we'll have to thread into that. So that's probably going to be a little tedious, but still shouldn't be too bad once I run these out the way, and then make sure that none of the metal parts of the power steering pump are arcing. That's why you see so much tape and wire loom trying to prevent that. But let's get up in there. All right, guys, so got red down off the lift, replaced that power steering line. It was a pain, but and I wrapped up some of the wire, so it looks a lot better. But this one that has that sharp bend to it right there comes up, it actually doesn't fit in the bracket. I ordered this from LMR and it didn't quite fit right, so I put a slight bend in it very carefully. But you might have a little residual on there, but nothing crazy. I just let it idle for like 20 minutes. Seems fine. Last thing with this is to get the see if I can do it with one hand for you guys, the hood aligned, and then get an alignment on this hopefully tomorrow. But you see, if I push it down hard, there's like no seam on this side, and then there's that big seam on that side. But I already got new hardware, like I said. Gonna hopefully get that painted, but from the side I do like that hood on there. But that's it for red. Me and my dad just pushed and got his car up on the lift.